is going on, everybody? This is Stryker, welcoming you to the 11th day of Vlogmas. So yesterday we did the 12th day and I put on 12 layers of clothing, so if you missed that, go check it out because it was pretty entertaining for myself just going through the whole process, so I think you'll enjoy the video. I also did a little bit of editing with it to make it not like the 25 minutes it took to put all the clothing on. It came out to be like an 11.5-minute video, so go check that out if you missed that. Otherwise, today is the 11th day of Christmas, which means we're going to do something with the number 11, right? So yesterday I did something further back on the camera, so I figured I'd sit in front of the camera and just do like a regular kind of style vlog. So what we're going to do is 11 interesting facts about myself. They might not be super interesting to you, but they're, I don't know, they kind of make me who I am, or they're things about my past, or things that I've done, or whatever. So, first off, we're going to start off with the fact that my name is actually Stryker. I've talked about this before on the channel, and I don't know if I did a video on it or not. Did like a story time like way back long ago when I did story time with Stock, back when the channel was SStock21. So my first name is actually Stryker. It's not my last name, it's not my middle name, not a nickname. That is my first name, and actually it comes from an imaginary uncle. So that probably makes no sense, and that's okay. So when I was born, my mother didn't know what she wanted to name me, and my biological father said, let's name him Stryker. I have an uncle who had died in whatever war, you know, Vietnam War, Korean War, whatever. So his name was Stryker, and I want to name my child after him. So my mom was like, yeah, okay, that's a cool name, why not? So we went through the first 5.5 years of my life with my name being Stryker, named after this uncle who had perished some time ago. When it came down to it and they got a divorce when I was 5.5, one of the last things he said was, oh yeah, Uncle Stryker never existed. So I have no idea where my name actually comes from other than the fact that it's from an imaginary uncle. It could be the pilot in the movie Airplane. That was sort of big, I guess. It could have been any of the medical equipment, Stryker Medical. They do a lot of the hospital beds, hospital equipment, and other pieces there. So my mother and I don't know. And my biological father isn't in my life, so it's not like we're ever going to find out the real answer to that. So it doesn't really matter. It's what my name is, and it's what it's been for the past 22 years, so there's no point in changing it now. Number 2. Pretty much all throughout my life, I was a year-round athlete, so I started playing baseball when I was like 3 or 4. I was super duper young, and I played multiple years of t-ball because I was too young to actually play, but then obviously I advanced through the ranks. Then, when my family moved, and it was the start of 5th grade, it was going into the fall season. We moved like right before the school year, and my mom wanted me to get into something that was gonna be able to make new friends with, you know, because baseball is a spring sport, so I would have gone half a year without knowing anybody, and then maybe be able to make some friends. So I actually started playing soccer in 5th grade, even though it is my favorite sport and the sport that I would play. If I could choose a sport to play professionally, it would most likely be soccer. But I started playing soccer in 5th grade, and from there it went on year-round, so I did soccer, and then in the winter I did training for soccer and baseball, then played baseball, and then back into, you know, spring, summer, you start the summer workouts with soccer, and then you play soccer. And then again, in high school, I had started playing indoor soccer as well during the winter, so I had something else to do. But yeah, I was an all-year-round athlete until I got to college, and then I just started doing things on my own, running and other sports. I was part of the intramural soccer league that we had there, but that didn't last very long. It was like 4 games, and then no one came to play anymore. Number 3, I played the trombone for about 7 years, which included both marching band and concert band. So I started in 5th grade playing the trombone. You go through and you like test out all the different instruments, and it was like on a 3 scale or something like that, and I got a 3 on the flute, on the trombone, the trumpet, and the saxophone. And I was like, you know what? I've never seen anybody else play the trombone, so let's go for it. So I played the trombone, did it again in marching band, was a section leader, a squad leader for a while there, and ended up quitting for concert band. So we did marching band, and then during the winter and then into the spring, it was concert band. So after my senior year's marching band, I quit. 1, I had lost interest. 2, there were stupid politics, and 3, I hated the people in band. So I just figured, why not? Let's just leave it where it is, and that was pretty much the end of my playing career. I can still play semi-decently, but it takes me a little bit to get back into the rhythm. Number 4, I want to get into acting or voice work or something along those lines one day, which would be great, and obviously doing things on YouTube and Twitch I did some things on Twitch. I'll get back to it, I promise. It's kind of taking the first steps towards that, but the first acting I ever did was actually in college, and it was for the musical Legally Blonde. It was the first, like AAA title, so to speak, musicals that the college had done in like over 30 years, and we had sellouts every single night. We were going to try to get a fourth show because we do Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We were going to try to do a Sunday matinee, but the price of getting the rights to do a Sunday show was astronomical. But it was the first sellout on all 3 nights in my college's history, and I played like 12 different roles. It was the first time I ever did any acting, so I wasn't expecting like a lead role. Apparently I was one of like 3 finalists for said lead role, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, that's in the past, so it's whatever. But that was the first time I did any acting, and then also I was in the musical Nonsense. I was the only male character playing a male character, because there's actually only 1 male role in the entire show, which is Father Virgil. There were 2 other guys that were cast who played female roles, so it was cool. It was a small cast, it was a funny kind of musical kind of show. I was also in another play. It was my first play that wasn't a musical, and we ended up having to cancel it due to several different issues that happened, so we just kind of gave up on it, and I said, well, alright, oh well, that's that. So that's all I got to do in college. My first year I didn't act, and then it was Legally Blonde, and then Nonsense for my second and third years, because I was only there for 3 years. Okay, number 5, I talked about playing indoor soccer. When I was a senior in high school, I had my nose broken in a game of indoor soccer. It was right at the beginning of the game. The play we had is I was in the center, so it was a 5-on-5 game with keepers, so 5 in the field and a goalie. So we typically played 2 wingers, a center, and then 2 defenders. I played center. What we did at the beginning of the game was I would start with the ball, pass it back to one of the defenders, and then curl up to the other side. They'd kick it, it would bounce off the wall, bounce right in front of my feet, and I would take a shot on goal. Typically, we scored on that play, but it was at least a play we ran to try to get some sort of early momentum, whether that was a goal or at least a shot on goal, make them know that, hey, we're here to play. So during this game, just like any other game, I passed it back, ran my route, the ball hit off the wall, I went to take a shot, but there was a kid on the other team who had never played soccer before. He was a friend of a friend of a friend, and they had to have 1 more player, or else they were going to forfeit. He was wearing tennis shoes, sweatpants, and like a hoodie. Like he was not dressed or ready to go. He had no shin guards, anything like that, even though that was against the rules. But he tried to kick the ball and spun his body so hard that his arm came straight out and just came across the bridge of my nose and broke it. So it kind of is like bumped out on this side. It's like pushed, you know, sort of. It's still pretty straight, but I can see the difference if I close my eyes and then look at the bridge of my nose, right? So this side is where it bumps out, and because I had my nose broken, it's really, really uncomfortable to wear sunglasses because it puts pressure right on top of this bone that's sticking up. So I really can't wear sunglasses, or else I end up crying by the end of it. It was really bad because I broke it my senior year, and then my freshman year in college, I had to have chemistry labs and wear goggles over my nose. The amount of times I had tears dripping down the outside because of how bad that pressure was on the newly formed bone in the healing bone was ridiculous. It was an absolutely horrific experience. Okay, number 6. I am a Cleveland sports fan. That's the Cleveland Browns, Cleveland Indians, and the Cleveland Cavaliers for the 3 like major sports. When it comes to other sports for the MLS Major Soccer League, I am a fan of the Chicago Fire. Originally, I was playing like FIFA 2000 or something, FIFA 2001, and thought they had really cool uniforms. So I was a young, impressionable kid, and I was like, you know what, that's cool. So I'm not a fan of the Columbus Crew. I actually don't really like them at all, even though that is technically like my hometown, or I guess my home state's team. So yeah, Chicago Fire fan, and when it comes to hockey, NHL, I am a fan of the Tampa Bay Lightning. Same situation. It was earlier than that. It was probably like 1999, playing NHL back on the PlayStation 1, and I thought they had really cool uniforms, so I became a fan of the Tampa Bay Lightning, and I don't care about the Columbus Blue Jackets, so same kind of situation. They're my home state team, but I don't really care for them. Number 7, I actually haven't been a tech geek my whole life when it comes to understanding computers, building computers, and how to troubleshoot and everything like that. I was always good with like the default Windows programs like Word, Excel, Outlook, that kind of stuff. And I mean, I was well versed in the internet and everything, but I didn't actually learn really about computers until I built my own 2 Novembers ago. So last year in November, it was like right after Thanksgiving. I watched several videos on how to build computers, and I wrote myself like a step-by-step checklist on what to do. So the first thing was like, put the CPU in the motherboard, put the thermal paste on there, attach the CPU cooler, because I bought an aftermarket cooler. Put the cooler on there, attach the motherboard, and then everything like that, put in the RAM. So, I mean, I went through all of that learning on the fly, using YouTube videos, and kind of bouncing ideas and things off of my friends, which was really nice. So shout out to them for helping me build my computer and figure out what parts to put in it and everything. And eventually I'll get this thing upgraded, but I need money to do that. Okay, number 8. I did a video about this many years ago, so I figured I would go ahead and touch up on it again. I originally started playing video games on the Game Boy Advance. I'd gotten it for Christmas, and I think I borrowed Pokemon Blue. I don't think it was actually my game. I think it was either given to me, or I borrowed it from a friend from school. So I started playing Pokemon Blue on the Game Boy Advance, and I played on the PlayStation 1 with several sports titles. I played the Madden games, NHL games, and then I had a bunch of racing games, and that was back when they were doing like the ATV and BMX stuff like that, and Tony Hawk. So I mean, it wasn't like NASCAR for everything. I did play NASCAR. I had a couple other racing games, but it wasn't like the Need for Speeds or anything like that. So it was an interesting start, and then it kind of just continued onwards to where I have interest in first-person shooters, adventure games, role-playing games, sports games. I mean, I'm all over the place when it comes down to it. Number 9, I have a back condition known as spondylolisthesis. If you don't know what that is, look it up. Basically, my spine and tailbone aren't aligned properly, and my spine isn't 100% straight. It's not like I have scoliosis where it's like a curve or anything like that, but there is a slight curve and it's kind of twisted on itself. So I do have some issues with that. If you want more information, go ahead and go look that up. Then again, on the medical side, for number 10, I am allergic to penicillin, amoxicillin, any of the cillins, which come from a mold, and any sulfa drugs, so sulfamilamides or anything like that. Anything with the word sulfa in it, can't have it, they'll all kill me. I almost died due to a penicillin not overdose, one of my allergic reaction, that's the word I was looking for. I had seasonal allergies, took a penicillin Z-Pack, which is what they give you. It's like a steroid Z-Pack to kind of get things out of your system, get yourself back going normal, and that almost killed me. I ended up missing like 3 weeks of school my sophomore year, junior year? I think it was my sophomore year that I got really sick with that. And then lastly, number 11, my first adult purchase. This was right after I graduated college, like, found my apartment and everything. I had to live in my old dormitory for, I think it was like 2.5 weeks until I was able to move into my old apartment, which you can see in other videos. My first purchase, like day 1 I got there, I went out to Walmart and I bought a microwave. That was my first adult purchase, was a microwave, and I still have it out in my kitchen. And it was the proudest moment of my life because I was actually doing something as an adult. I bought a microwave, and that was the coolest thing ever for me. So there you have it. There are 11 interesting facts about myself. If you guys have any questions about said facts, feel free to leave them in the comment section. Or if you have some interesting facts about yourself that kind of coincide with mine, or just something interesting about yourself, I'd love to hear it. So thank you so much for watching, and thank you for watching the 11th day of Christmas. Tomorrow we will do the 10th day of Christmas as we count down to the 25th as the first day of Christmas. So thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, everybody, and I will see you all next time.